For over 40 years, the Camry has been a staple among those who just want a car, and the 2025 Toyota Camry isn't trying to change that. It's not a sports car, a luxury car, nor a mom or dad car. That honor is reserved for minivans and crossovers. The prefix that best applies to the Camry is normal if you prefer to be nice, or boring if you want to be, well, less nice. But the Camry is also one of the best-selling cars in its segment, and it was one of the last sedans to outsell SUVs and pickups before truck fever struck in the US. When someone just wants a normal car for normal things, like commuting to work or shuttling a family around, the Camry is a good go-to. That's still true today, and now that the 2025 Camry is hybrid-only and delivers a more refined driving experience, maybe it's time to drop the boring prefix altogether. The new Camry is simply a good car, maybe even a fun one. The V6 is gone, and so is the TRD trim. But, again, the Camry is not a sports car and was never meant to be one. What the 9th Gen Toyota Camry is, though, is redesigned. Underneath the new sheet metal, however, the latest Camry rides on the same TNGA platform as its predecessor. You can see traces of the old model in this new one, but the front end has changed quite a bit, sporting the hammerhead fascia of the new Prius and crown signia. Starting at $34,495, this new 2025 Camry drops the hybrid suffix, because, well, they're all hybrids. Now, the only available drivetrain is a 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine paired to an electric motor that makes a total of 225 horsepower on front-wheel drive models. Output increases to 232 horsepower for all-wheel drive cars courtesy of an electric motor in the rear axle, which provides on-demand power when more traction is required. AWD is available on all trims for an extra $1,525, even the base model. The outgoing Camry was split into different lineups, depending on drivetrain. There was the 2024 Toyota Camry and the 2024 Toyota Camry Hybrid. That gas-only model came with either a 301 horsepower V6 or a 2.5-liter four-cylinder, while the hybrid took the latter and added an electric motor. This shared design language has grafted well onto the boring Camry, and it now looks slightly more athletic while still resembling the previous generation. It's a good balance of old and new that sticks to the overall vibe of the car, which is conservative yet forward-thinking. A good old-fashioned sedan with a pioneering streak. The interior follows this design ethos, looking vaguely similar to the previous model while taking a big leap forward. There's still a kind of stepped center console that favors the driver, and the dashboard is now segmented in a more dramatic way. The transition looks really cool, though, with matching trim on the door cards and dash that gives the cabin a sense of flow. Upper and lower Camry grades are differentiated by the materials adorning the dash, so an XSE might have leather-like material, while another grade will feature a cloth-like covering. Both look and feel great. Front and center is a big infotainment screen that measures 8 inches diagonally as standard, but there's an upgraded 12.3-inch screen available. All Camry grades get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as 2 USB-C ports and at least 1 USB-A for front passengers. The inductive charging pad looked too smooth to be useful, so I opted not to use it. Last thing I want is an iPhone flying off the console. I'm a hardwired holdout, so I always plug straight in, but I get why people love wireless everything. One of the most welcome changes is the addition of a teal paint finish, which Toyota calls Ocean Gem. Even the Camry's chief engineer, Mark de Jong, remarked that the Camry team was surprised when they saw the paint on a finished car. The lively teal pops off the sheet metal in ways that the paint swatch couldn't capture. Indeed, the new color looks friendly and bright in a late 90s, early 00s kind of way. As a millennial, I'm fully on board, especially when Ocean Gem is coupled with the Camry's standard 16-inch and available 18-inch wheels. Upper trims get optional 19-inch wheels, but sidewall is king for both looks and performance, if you ask me. That honesty is abundant in the new hybrid model, which handles exceptionally well in its natural habitat of both the city and highway. I drove the Camry around Coronado, California, which connects to San Diego via a long causeway. Heading east along State Route 94, the Camry showed off what it can do on a twisty mountain road in both FWD and AWD spec. I was surprised to learn that the new Camry is pretty fun to drive. It will never sound the same as the dearly departed V6, but the hybrid has pep. Acceleration is boosted by electric motors while the electronically controlled CVT handles simulated gear shifts seamlessly, making power feel linear and smooth. Toyota says the new model with electronic motor-fed AWD makes 30 horsepower over the previous car that featured mechanical all-wheel drive. That seems like a misdirect to gloss over the big power drop from the missing V6, but, in practice, the new car is plenty responsive. There are McPherson struts up front and a multi-link rear featuring new sport-tuned shock absorbers. The suspension is tuned a little stiffer than you'd expect in a family car, but it's not trying to be raw or visceral. In other words, it's more of a sporty sedan than sports sedan. And that's great, because this is a Camry, after all. It's a car that has always known what it does, and is perfectly happy just doing it well. Given the impressive balance this midsize sedan strikes between enjoyable driving and efficiency, the boring old Camry has caught up to competitors like the Honda Accord, Kia K5, and Hyundai Sonata, all of which tout strong hybrid offerings. The downside is that the new Camry's price starts a couple of $1,000s higher than it did when a simple combustion engine was in the base model. The trade-off, however, is clearly compelling.
9. Received the Motor Week Driver's Choice Best EV Award for 2024. Last year, the 2023 Kia F6 also received the